evening and good morning to all the panelists and the audience, the students, the parents. It's a great opportunity for us all to be together. So CanAm presents the Canadian Universities and Colleges Conclave. It's a part of the CanAm webinar series, and it's a 3-day conclave from 27 to 29. Today is the second day, and today is now is the second topic of the second day. We have 3 more sessions to go tomorrow. So just giving you an introduction into who's CanAm. We at CanAm been doing career counseling for students headed to Canada for almost 25 years. And so it's a long time that we've been doing it. Please do listen to the videos on our website to hear what top universities and colleges have to say about CanAm counselors, the CanAm services, as well as the own programs and opportunities for scholarship, as well as what are the new COVID-19 flexibilities they're offering in terms of admissions, in terms of classes. There's a whole lot of things that are continuously changing. So you should be in touch and do listen to the videos to get to know what's happening. CanAm has been very special to Canada. We've sent the largest number of students, high quality students, to Canada. Anurag Sandhu, our CEO, is an ICCRC member, Immigration Consultants of Canada Regulatory Council, which means that he's a regulated Canadian government licensed consultant for guidance on visa and permanent residency processes. Students who are headed to Canada definitely need to consult with a licensed immigration consultant for their study permits. But in addition to that, more importantly, actually, when you're looking at study in Canada, most of the time students are looking at studying, then get some Canadian work experience, and then look at permanent residency options as well. So to get to know what are the various PR options that are available, what are the programs that would be more suitable to you, what kind of program of study should you choose in order to get what kind of skills are in shortage in certain regions. So what are the regional provincial nominee programs? What are the kind of points that you would gather towards permanent residency if you do certain kind of programs? Now, all of that can only be explained to you by a licensed immigration consultant. And really speaking, at CanAm, we can claim this kind of a rare combination of long and licensed experience of promoting Canadian education, Canadian careers, and pathways to permanent residency. So our advice to you always would be, please do not seek visa assistance or PR guidance from unlicensed agents. CanAm is one of the largest overseas education consulting companies with a network of offices in over 30 locations across India and in Toronto, Canada. We give career advice to over 2 lakh students and professionals each year and process about 75,000 applications for university and college admissions in Canada. Our artificial intelligence-driven platform, iApply, has contributed significantly to these numbers this year, especially during the pandemic. In fact, our grateful thanks to various universities and college partners who have supported us throughout this year. We've actually conducted about 90 odd webinars, live webinars with question and answer sessions. We're doing this conclave here. We've shot for about 150 odd videos. It's been a great year. Thank you so much for your support. In fact, we've reached out to about, I think, almost 10,000 students have pre-registered for this conclave across the 8 sessions. So it's been a great year. Thank you so much for your support, including the students and their parents who've been participating in our activities in such large numbers. Our free services include a live interaction with delegates through webinars, visits, career counseling, admission services, getting application fee waivers, visa guidance, providing scholarship options where possible, and interview preparation where it's needed. And why are we doing this conclave? As leaders in promoting Canadian education for 2.5 decades, this conclave by CanAm is a logical step towards removing myths and clarifying a lot of frequently asked questions that have been confusing students all along for a lack of regulated guidance and licensed consultants in India. Our grateful thanks to all our panelists for taking time out of their zones and sharing this responsibility with us in reaching out to students and parents on 8 hot topics related to Canadian education. So promoting Canadian education with a global career perspective, this conclave is focusing on Canadian education and skill development for Indian students and working professionals. And the topic for this session is master's degrees versus post-degree diplomas or certificates in Canada. And our panelists for today, and I'm going to list them in alphabetical order. Dhruv Mohan, Manager Recruitment, Southeast Asia and India, School of Continuing Studies, York University, Toronto, Ontario. Dhruv Mohan is a marketing and business development professional with 8+ years of experience across industries, having worked in the education sector with premium institutes including Australian University of Adelaide and Deakin University and Canadian universities. His expertise includes international education, market research, student recruitment, and partner tie-ups. He has previously led student-centric projects collaborating with NDTV, Rajasthan Royals, and Rising Pune Supergiant, both IPL teams. Welcome to the team, Dhruv. Our second panelist for today, Nee, Manager International Programs, Memorial University, St. John's, Newfoundland. Nee has worked in the international education sector for more than a decade. She's responsible for graduate recruitment and student support for engineering programs at Memorial University. She has an MBA and an MA from Memorial University and would be happy to share some thoughts with students and parents seeking personal and professional development. Thank you so much for being with us today, Nee. A third panelist, Kim Loeb, Executive Director, Professional Applied and Continuing Education, PACE, at the University of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Kim is the Executive Director of Professional Applied and Continuing Education at the University of Winnipeg. She holds a master's in leadership and is currently working towards certification in executive coaching. She has collaborated with people from all over the world and has an extensive local, national, and international network in industry and in executive and professional education. Kim's first trip to India was in 2012 when she attended a Can-Am fair. It was love at first sight with India, and she has been back over 10 times since then. Looking forward to her next visit here. Welcome to this panel, Kim. Our fourth panelist today, Pranav Rathi, Senior Advisor, South Asia, Fanshawe College, London, Ontario. Pranav is an international education professional with 11+ years of experience with institutions based in Canada, UK, specializing in recruitment, student services, and admissions. In 2016, he joined Fanshawe College South Asia office as an advisor for the India market, and in 2018, he was promoted with the responsibility of the complete South Asia market, admissions and recruitment, and complete enrollment management for India. Thank you for being with us today, Pranav. Our fifth panelist, Prashant Srivastava, Director, South Asia, Seneca College, Toronto. Prashant has more than 15 years experience in the international education sector and is currently the Director, Regional Business Development for South Asia at Seneca. Prashant oversees Seneca's student recruitment and business development activities in South Asia. With his team of business development managers, he manages business relationships with over 100 recruitment and academic partners in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and UAE. Thank you for being with us, Prashant. Panelists for today, sixth is Sumit Agarwal, Manager Academic Advising, University of Canada West, Vancouver, BC. Sumit Agarwal is an experienced international education and enrollment management professional with an experience of more than 8 years in the fields of student recruitment, student services, agent network management, and strategic partnerships. He has worked at SAIT, Vancouver Island University, King's University College, and at Western University and Algonquin College, helping them set up successful operations in India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Nepal. Thank you for being with us today, Sumit. And thank you so much to all the panelists for joining in today. Students, you can continue to ask your questions through the session. Please click on the chat button on your screen, type in your WhatsApp number, your name, and the city that you're located in, along with your question. An expert Can-Am counselor closest to your location will contact you. And if your question is absolutely unique, we will pick it up for one of the panelists to answer. And thank you for joining in. And now over to the So now we start with the conclave and over to the panelists. A quick introduction. The Canadian education system clearly offers two types of credentials: academic degrees to mostly feed into the research sector, and skill-based certificates or diplomas for industry employability. But how do you choose? How do you zero in on the right career path for you? Don't put yourself in a box. Most Indian students are confused between the two as they do not clearly understand academics, skill development, and employability. India's new education policy aims to change that for the next generation. But as of now, the students the students need orientation, and thus we arrived at today's topic, master's degrees versus post-degree diplomas or certificates in Canada. My first question goes out to Dhruv. Dhruv, York University has a separate school of continuing studies which offers a variety of postgraduate certificate or diploma programs. The Faculty of Graduate Studies offers master's degree programs. How would you differentiate between PG diplomas and masters? And who should study a master's degree and who would benefit most with the postgraduate diploma programs?
Thanks, Ganga, for your question. I think it's a very valid point. In terms of the differences, there are few visible and obvious differences in regards to the prerequisites. When you look at a master's program, in terms of the prerequisites, you would need a finished degree. Most likely, all top institutes would need a 4-year undergrad degree for you to get in. If that's not the case, if you're a fresh graduate and you have a 3-year degree, that would need a work experience behind you. So it could be ranging from 1 year to 2 years, especially if you're looking at professional programs like an MBA or a Master's of Marketing, and you have a 3-year degree, you would need to showcase 1 year work or 2 years work experience. Apart from that, they also need you to showcase some professional entrance exam scores. It could be a GMAT score. The seats typically tend to be very limited in a master's program. And along with the intakes, which are very defined, a majority of the institutes would either have a fall intake or maximum a winter intake. If I talk about PG certificate programs, the intakes tend to be rolling intakes. There could be 2 to 3 intakes in a year. So there's more flexibility for students to get into the program. The seats, I won't say are ample. It's competitive to get in, but compared to a graduate program, they tend to be more in number. Even in terms of the entry requirements, you would typically be able to get into a postgrad certificate with a 3-year finished degree. So that way, even a fresh graduate coming from the subcontinent with a 3-year degree might be able to get into a postgrad certificate program. In terms of how the programs are being delivered, with the PG Cert program, the focus is more on practical way of teaching and learning, which means the program are built and led by industry professionals. These professionals come from the industry, they have worked in the industry, and they impart that knowledge in delivering these programs. In terms of a master degree, if you are looking to enhance your domain knowledge, then that's a very good option. So a good example would be you've done a BBA program and then you further want to enhance your skills in marketing, then a Master's of Marketing might be a good program for you to look at. Not all masters, but quite a few masters also tend to focus on research and are research heavy. Whereas the PG Cert programs, as I mentioned, are more built to upskill yourself, for the needs of the market, the labor market needs, and are very defined in terms of their outcome. So those are the sort of differences that you can look in terms of also who can come into a PG Cert. PG Cert programs are open for fresh graduates or even mid-level professionals that are looking to upskill themselves. So, or they could probably wanting to change their domain as well. A good example would be an engineering student having a 4-year undergrad degree, now wanting to enhance his skills in another domain. It could be business. So for someone like that who's got some work experience or no work experience behind them, a PG Cert might be a good option to look at. And as you were mentioning before, one of the important factors for students is to also focus on the outcome after the program. It could be staying in Canada, working, and then progressing further in the workforce. The PG Cert programs typically are shorter in duration. For example, the ones that we offer are 8-month long. So students tend to combine 2 programs, study for 16 months, and are still able to get the 3 years postgraduate work permit, or up to 3 years. Whereas when you're looking at a master's, you're looking at committing yourself for a longer duration. It could be 2 years. Whereas here, for less than 2 years, you would still get the same outcome. And the most important and the final point would be the cost of the program. A master's degree tends to be on the higher side in terms of the tuition, whereas the PG certs are very competitive. You could look to do 2 programs at York for less than $40,000, which might not be the case when you're looking at a master's degree. So I hope that answers that question.
Thank you, Dhruv. My next question goes to Nee. Nee, at Memorial, we find a lot of Indian students attracted to the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science for doing their master's degrees. The Marine Institute, which offers PG diplomas, is also a part of the university. What are the differences between an applied science master's degree and a postgraduate diploma in terms of requirements for admission and in terms of employment for graduates from either of the programs?
Yeah, so it's not much difference between these programs. I think they serve different purpose. As Dhruv mentioned, it really depends on how you do the metrics, which fits you the best. The postgraduate diploma offered at Memorial University through the Marine Institute is advanced training and education for professional development. It's very much related to employment, practical skills, highly focused, and also it's kind of short, versus a Master of Applied Science degree that we offer a curriculum that is broad and comprehensive. It provides you with the in-depth understanding in the subject area. Say, for example, in our oil and gas engineering program, we offer a curriculum covers from exploration, geology, well testing, to drilling, production, operation, and safety engineering. So in a more simple term, the graduate diploma is more so to present you with the how. If you wish to reach from point A to point B, they will show you the map. This is the best option, and this is how you do it. Versus a Master of Applied Science degree is more so about how and why. That will show you the map, and from A to B, there are how many options, and you have to think about it, and the whole process to train you about the thinking process, about the scientific approach to solve problem. We may not see the issues, new issues may emerge from the industry. These are the things that, you have to learn the techniques to identify the issue and to find approach to solve the problem. Not that, we can tell you directly how to do it. In terms of admissions, there's not much of difference. We still require credentials that are competitive, because not everyone who applies will be qualified for the admission. Of course, undergraduate GPA, good references, these will really add values to your applications. In terms of employment, again, I don't see much of difference. I think ultimately when you are selecting postgraduate diploma versus a degree, really depends on your passion, what kind of career you wish to take on in the future, because you're going to deal with the subject area for 10, 20, 30 years. So you have to have a passion in the industry. We've also had graduates from oil and gas engineering program that take on a job as a college instructor. So these are also professional jobs, but a little bit away from the industry. If you have a passion to teach, it's the best that you think what kind of skills you can use and to lead you into different careers. We also have a fully equipped career development center that can provide students the mentorship, the training, and the guidance to secure employment. Thank you.
Just one more question. Do you think the masters in applied science are more geared towards skilling than the regular masters?
Yeah, so in the master degree program, there are 2 streams. Traditionally, people would take on the research intensive thesis-based programs. In these programs, students take fewer courses, but they conduct intensive research in a small subject area. It's more focused as compared to Master of Applied Science, course-based. but many students really have the passion for research work. They wish to engage in employments in research and developments in the future, or if you have interest to pursue a PhD in the future and even a career in the academia. This is certainly a good option. We are also observing a growing demand from the industry for advanced technology, knowledge and technology, more practical skills in that sense. That's why we're seeing the demand, and that's how we launched these course-based programs to offer a comprehensive curriculum to help students, enhance their skills. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My next question goes to Kim. Kim, we see a lot of Indian students and working professionals excited to study at PACE. What's the objective of having PACE at your university as a separate department to graduate study which deals with master's degrees? And many students in high competition markets like India believe they need a master's degree to stand out in the crowd. But in a less crowded country like Canada, hiring managers are very wary of a younger person, like 21 to 29 years old, who already has a master's degree but has no relevant work experience. How do employers in Canada make hiring decisions?
I'll start first with why the PACE department is located in the University of Winnipeg. Very similar to York University, like Dhruv said. We do have master's programs, but we also have PACE. PACE is different. There's not many universities, first of all, in Canada that do offer the post-degree diplomas. It's very competitive to still get in. We still need an IELTS of 6.5, and we do require work experience. I think the difference between the master's programs at the University of Winnipeg and PACE is we're very industry driven. We're very focused on the industry. The faculty, the professors are all directly from industry. We also align the students very closely with industry. So students, when they come to a PACE program, they become members of the professional association. So if in our project management program, you become a member of the association. Our human resource, you become a member. Our programs are also very aligned with what the market wants, what the employers want, what people are looking for. So we don't develop programs or offer programs there are jobs. So we can be quicker to develop a new program and put it on the market as opposed to a graduate program. As well, our programs are applied. They're not research-based. The cost is also very competitive at PACE. You can do a one-year program for about $13,000 up to $20,000, and a two-year program for $24,000. So there's some really cost advantages along with a lot of support. We do know students are coming to work. So from the beginning, we give them a lot of career advice. We have internship at the end. We also do career preparation, resume building. So when you start the program, you are ready to work. This brings me into the second question you've asked, Ganga, about what do employers want in Canada? Yes, I think if you're a younger person or someone who's new to Canada, employers might be a bit weary, like, oh, they have a master's degree, they might be overqualified. Because in Canada, the norm is that people start working after high school or college or university, and they wouldn't get their master's degree till later in their life, until they've acquired some experience. So if you're a younger person, say coming from India, and you have a master's degree and no work experience, employers might just not want to hire you. They might feel you're overqualified. So this is one thing I know employers are looking for, especially for those entry to mid-level jobs that you would be looking for. What they're looking for as well, the Canadian employers absolutely love when they see that you have international work experience. They just value this so highly. And another mistake I find students make when they come to Canada is to get work experience, they think that they can do any job. So they'll get a job at a gas station or a coffee shop, and they'll say, well, we're getting a Canadian work experience, but the employers, they want professional work experience. That goes a long way. So what we're looking for in the workplace now, looking for people very strong writing skills, communication skills, ability to get along with others in the team, very, very important. Flexibility, and as in Canada, we're a very, very diverse country. So it's really important in the workplace for people to be open to other people, other ways of thinking, because we're just and be open to change. A lot of qualities though that students come from India have, the employers do like. Students that we have there tend to be very respectful, very hardworking, and Canadian employers are really very, very happy with the students that we have who come from India with their amazing work experience and often large multinational corporations. And then they come and get like a diploma or a master's, and they do very well. And the other thing I encourage people to do when you're studying is to get involved in activities, and that's how you learn the workplace culture, the culture in Canada.
Thank you. You also spoke about certification in your programs. So do you think those certifications are also necessary and employers do look at that as well as one of when they are
Yes,
hiring?
that's a great question. What professional designations are very important. So many of our programs are aligned with the professional designations in industry. So for example, in project management, the biggest international designation is PMI. So we get the students, get their PMP ready, prepared for that. So the professional associations are really the people who are actually making sure, like in our supply chain program, we're aligned with the association. So often when students are graduating from our program, they're getting our program, and they're also becoming eligible to get the professional designation, which in many careers, the professional designation ranks higher for an employer than a master's degree.
Okay, thank you so much. My next question now moves on to Sumit. Sumit, University of Canada West is a business school offering MBA programs. Now, you worked with a couple of universities in Canada. Would you like to tell students about MBA programs in Canada, some of which require work experience and others which accept fresh graduates? And what is the return on investment on doing an MBA? As we are aware that MBAs are more expensive than, let's say, a master's in marketing.
Thank you, Ganga. And good evening, everybody. Good evening, good morning. So, Ganga, there are two parts to your question. I'll take the first part first about the MBA programs that require work experience and some of them which don't. And I'll try to explain the difference as well. So, yeah, University of Canada West does offer an MBA which is not asking for work experience. We are open for fresh graduates as well. And there are some other schools as well. There are many very good MBA programs that don't ask for work experience. To give you an example, Dalhousie University's MBA program is not asking for work experience. Brock University, University of Windsor, Carleton University, Cape Breton University, Thompson Rivers University. So all these MBA programs are really good. They're very competitive. The employment statistics are available and they're pretty good, very strong. At the same time, we also know that some of the largest universities, some of the most popular universities in Canada, for example, University of Toronto, UBC, McGill, Western, they all ask for work experience in their MBA programs. The difference is the program itself. The programs are designed in these universities in such a way that they cater to different audiences. The objectives of these programs are different. The purpose is different, right? So it's up to the students to choose a program which serves their objectives. Of course, they need to be eligible for those programs, but at the same time, they will also have to look at the content of these programs, which is really important. So, it's not that if an MBA program is not asking for work experience may not be that good. It's all about the content of the program. And students, I know a lot of students do thorough research. They go through the program course by course, and this is what we expect an MBA student to do, and they should do that before they make an informed decision. Uh, Now, coming to the second part of your question, which was the return on investment on MBA programs versus the master degrees, as well as uh, what makes a better choice for students. So, I'll give you a perspective about University of Canada West's MBA program in terms of employability. So, Academica Group, which is a very popular research group in Canada, has been surveying our MBA graduates for last 2 years about their employment outcomes, and the outcomes have been really encouraging. So, as per the data they've shared with us, the most recent data that has been shared with us, 67% of our MBA graduates have secured a relevant job within a month of graduation, 88% within 3 months, and 100% within 6 months. The average salary, the median salary actually is around $55,000, which is very competitively placed. Considering the cost of our MBA is $35,000 for the entire 2 year programs. Now, coming to your question about the difference between master's and MBA program in terms of return on investment. Again, not all the MBA programs are expensive. First things first. Some of the very good MBA programs are available under $50,000. Public and private universities, both of them fall in that bracket as well. I worked at Vancouver Island University for a very long time, and the MBA program there still costs less than $50,000, and the outcomes are fantastic. Again, the main difference between master degrees, masters in management, for example, and MBA program is that master degree is more research focused, while MBA is more application focused, more industry focused. Again, students first need to identify their purpose in life, their objectives, career objectives, and based on that, they should go for a program. If they want to get into research, they want to be in, they want to work as a researcher in the industry or in an organization in a corporate, a master's may be more relevant. But if they want to be, say, in the client facing side of any business, probably MBA is a better option. So students need to be very clear about their career objectives before choosing a master program. At the end of the day, MBA is also a master degree, right? So just that the content is different. Thank you, Ganga. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So what I think most of you are trying to say is, please look at the content before you and see whether it aligns with your objective. Okay. My next question moves to Prashant. Prashant, Seneca College, like other public colleges in Canada, offers postgraduate diploma programs with amazing graduate placement rates. Firstly, why are they referred to as graduate certificates in Canada? Indian students don't understand, like, why is it called a graduate certificate? Secondly, how are these programs made suited to the job market, and what is the industry connect? Which all of you are talking about industry connect. So what is this industry connect?
Sure. Thank you, Ganga, and good evening, everyone in India.
And Prashant, you have 6 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So, because with this question, I would like to go back to the Canadian education system and explain briefly about Ontario college system as well. So, in Canada, education is the provincial mandate. So, every province has its own Ministry of Education, which oversees the higher education, the post-secondary education system, and the K-12 education in different provinces. In Ontario, we have a Ministry of Universities and Colleges that oversees the Ontario college system. There are 24 colleges in Ontario, and all the colleges, the way the approval goes to the ministry, the programs are called as graduate certificate programs. So Seneca, Fanshawe, Humber, all the colleges, they are offering a graduate certificate Ontario graduate certificate programs. These are approved by the ministry. And why they came into picture is because of the need in the province of Ontario. The local labor market surveys and the reports predicted growth in certain sectors, and then colleges were able to foresee those areas and design their program. So that is the reason why in Ontario they are called graduate certificate program, whereas in BC it can be a postgraduate diploma, or by universities it can be a postgraduate certificate. Again, it depends on where the program is offered and who and the approving jurisdiction in the province. So in Ontario, it is the ministry, it is the Ministry of Colleges and Universities which oversees the Ontario college system. That's why they are called graduate certificate programs in Ontario. And your second question, how these programs are suited to for the job market, it is because the way the programs are designed, actually the programs are designed in consultation with the industry stakeholders. So we have a program advisory committee which gives inputs to our academic council how to design programs, and with their inputs the programs are designed. And always there are new programs which would come up. For example, nowadays we are offering programs in cybersecurity, fintech, um, information technology. In the new areas, in the emerging technologies, the programs are developed and offered based on the need of the job market. And these are very attractive because they have excellent industry connect. Firstly, they are designed in consultation with the industry stakeholders. And then within the program, we have work integrated learning, which is called co-op as well. So many of our graduate certificate programs offer co-op options to the student, that student will study, then they will go in the industry and then complete the program. So it becomes a good investment for Indian students to select 2 graduate certificate programs. So when they complete a 2-year duration of studies in Canada, which gives them a 3-year work permit, they are more skilled. So for example, a student may choose a program in fintech and cybersecurity that gives them more opportunities as well to get in the job market. And also these programs have a sense of flexibility. You can bundle them together with different options. For example, brand management can go very well with the international business. So there are certain programs which can be combined that will make a student employable. And these programs, mind you, were designed when the college system was established. It was based on the Ontario job market. So thinking of students who are in Toronto and in the different regions of Ontario, the programs were designed, but they became so attractive to international students that now we see that these programs are so much oversubscribed and very high in demand, because your audience is working professionals. Many of them are looking to come and establish their careers in Canada. They find these programs to be a good transitioning for their settlement also in Canada. So many newcomers who come to Canada, they go through our graduate certificate program, because sometimes they feel the route of going through a master's or another degree program could be, it becomes a longer duration for them, and they feel that this is a better return on investment for them, that in a shorter duration of time, they are able to get more value and get in the industry, in the workforce. So in nutshell, I would say that these would be the benefits. And 5 major benefits of these graduate certificate programs are they're really career focused. So every program has a career outcome. You can see on our website, it will give you a career section that which after completing a program, which type of careers you can choose, what could be your average salary in certain fields. And then it meets the market and industry demand. They are very fast track also. So in less duration of time, you are getting maximum benefit out of the program. Plus the work integrated component, experiential learning embedded in the curriculum, that also adds a value. And in the end, they are very flexible. So that's why our programs are very high in demand. We have a lot of wait listing as well in our program. Many students, they tend to apply 6 to 8 months prior to the date of application. Thank you.
Thanks, Prashant. Prashant, on my various visits to colleges and labs, what I've seen is you sometimes have labs which are, sponsored by your industry partners, like maybe, a networking lab may be sponsored by um, uh, a networking company. Which is that networking company? Just
So
now,
yeah,
don't
we
blacked out. So, or a
yes.
chocolate making lab would probably be sponsored by Lind, or wine and beverages management, or a program like that. Could the lab and the infrastructure that could be sponsored by company like Jacobs Creek, and so I've seen all of that. So maybe you want to just give a few examples like that for students to just get the hang of the industry connect.
Yeah, sure. I think it's a very good point. So, for example, as I was explaining earlier, that programs are agile in nature. They go with the demand of the industry. So, for example, nowadays there is a great interest in advanced manufacturing. So, we have a lab of mechatronics in Seneca, which is established in partnership with Siemens. So, while pursuing certain engineering courses in Seneca, student can pursue a professional certification from Siemens. Similarly, we have programs which have some industry accreditation. So when students are pursuing a program in accounting, their coursework is approved by CPA Ontario as well. So we have like these industry connects are with banks, these financial institutions, IT companies, and all the high tech companies. So over 1,000 industry partners we have in Ontario where students can get these opportunities to connect with the industry. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, my last question uh, for Pranav Rathi. Pranav, tell the students about the variety of skill-based PG diploma programs that public colleges like Fanshawe are mandated to deliver. Uh, Prashant touched on a 1+1 option. I'd like you to expand on that. And why are they so popular with Indian students?
Sure. Thank you for the question. Good evening, everyone. So I'm just going to start with where Prashant started, actually. So a bit about a history of colleges, because you need to understand where exactly it all started. So if you'll see all these 24 colleges, they all started in 1966, 67. So 53 years of quality education now. So at that point of time, there's this person called Bill Davis, who was the part of the Ministry of University Affairs and part of the Ministry of Education, decided that there is a lack of skill in the Ontario state. And of course, there have been these universities who've been there for ages, doing the amazing work, giving a lot of knowledge, but the skills were still lacking. So that's how it started in 1967 with 500 students in Centennial. Now it has moved to nearly 200,000 students. And the best part here is that nearly 86% or 84% of students in Centennial are graduating from this university.
Can
Sorry.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Maybe 84% students, they get a job in within 6 months of graduating. So that's how it all started, and how it has become very popular now. So now talking about these postgrad programs, these programs are completely employment based, that everybody was talking about, completely skill focused, hands on. So if I'll just take an example of our program called Practical Elements of Mechanical Engineering, which is one of the most popular programs in India. So I personally, actually, when I went to Fanshawe for the first time, I sat in the classroom just to understand that how exactly the education system here works. And I couldn't understand a thing because I don't come from the similar background. But my main job was to speak to the students later on to understand that what exactly they feel about the program, how exactly things happen in a college. So they said that whatever is taught in the classroom will be again, they'll be doing the same things hands on in the lab. So it's completely practical, completely hands on. Similarly, with the programs in IT uh, and the other subjects, the programs are very, very specialized. So again, employment eventually then becomes easier. Thus, postgraduate programs are very popular. Coming to your question related to 1+1 program, yes, Fanshawe does offer a 1+1 option from India itself, that you can apply for two postgrad programs, and and it can be a mix of two technical programs. For example, a student who has done a bachelor's in engineering in IT wishes to study one technical and one management program, both can be combined together. So a program like 3 years, up to 3 years work permit in Canada. So that's why it has become very popular now. And of course, what I generally advise to the students, that it is not education. It's not like India where it is completely book based. It is going to be a lot of, they're going to make your hands dirty. Like you're going to work in the field you will be job ready even before you start your job. After completion of the program, you will be ready for that. You will not face the basic challenges what majority of people face when they start straight away after education, specifically in India. So this is the reason why it has become very popular, the postgrad diplomas or the grad certificates that Ontario colleges offer.
Thank you, Pranav. Okay, and so now we move on to the questions from the audience. I am just going to pick up some questions which are very commonly being asked, and I'll frame them and repeat them for you. And I can request anyone on the panel to please take on and answer it. The first one is, while universities in Canada have published rankings, why don't we find rankings for Canadian colleges? How do we find out about their placement records?
Okay, Laganga, can I take this question?
Please go ahead.
Thank you. So I think it's a very good question. Firstly, again, this goes, I will talk about Canadian education. So the Canadian education system generally believes in uniformity. So there is no official ranking by Government of Canada for colleges and universities. The rankings students may see for universities would be from one of the magazines or some other publications which would be ranking universities. Colleges generally don't tend to participate in the ranking in Canada. And how we are being evaluated is by the respective ministries. So, for example, in the province of Ontario, the ministry has KPI indicators, knowledge performance indicators. Based on knowledge performance indicators, the funding formula also for colleges is derived, and that also goes through different aspects of vetting process. Like there are student surveys, they check the satisfaction rate of students, and then they check the placement records of the colleges. So based on these criteria, the KPI indicators are published, and this can give students if they want to do further research on different institutions in different colleges, they can check these KPI indicators to see where respective colleges stand. So in terms of ranking, yes, there is no ranking in the college system in Ontario. All the colleges are offering excellent quality of education. And students should be really assured in getting quality education in any of the colleges in Ontario. So this is what I will say, and maybe Pranav can add. Thank you.
Well, now you've answered everything here. Of course, those KPIs are very important. Like if the students, they want to see everything.
You need to speak a little louder, please.
Okay, my bad. So I'm saying that Prashant has already covered all the points. So those KPIs are available online, and the students can definitely have a look into it. And it would give them a rough idea about how the colleges are.
Also, I would like to add here, Kanga, if I may, even not all the universities participate in these rankings. So in Canada, there are two different kinds of universities. One is a group called research-based universities, and the other one is a teaching-focused university. So the rankings are essentially based on the number of research papers published as well as the quality of those research papers. So that makes the group of research universities. But again, there are teaching focused universities which might not be doing a lot of research or might not be publishing as many research papers. Doesn't mean that they're not good, just that their area of focus is different. These are teaching focused universities. Their job is to create professionals for the industry.
Would you like to say something about it? Since you are a university and yet your department is space and you deal with certificate programs and diploma programs.
Did you ask Kim or Drew?
Kim.
Oh, okay. Yes, in Canadians really don't pay attention to rankings. It's just not a very important thing for Canadian students. They tend to, and so again, we are standardized. Most Canadian universities are part of the public system, as are colleges. So we're very regulated by government. So we have to really maintain our standards. Very different than the US, where there's a lot of variety between the quality. You go from Ivy League to very small community college or very tiny small universities that people have never really heard of. In Canada, we don't have a lot of universities or colleges because we're not that big of a country. So the standards are very well, and I would say that you get a really good quality undergraduate education from any university in Canada, as well as any postgraduate experience.
Another question which I see quite commonly asked here is, do master's degrees have any co-op placements?
I can answer this. Normally, there are some undergrad programs that have a co-op built in, but at the graduate level, if you think about a co-op or internship, it meant to offer students the bridging period to connect with the employer and leading to formal employment. So at the graduate level, some students come with extensive work experience already, so they don't necessarily need it. What happens is we establish policy to allow students to take industrial internship as an option. It's not mandatory, but if a student is able to secure these opportunities, we'll make the co-op as part of the program and enable them to apply for the work permit for the co-op, and we'll help them facilitate for the whole process.
Okay. Sumit, do you want to answer that as well?
Sure. So again, from my experience working with many MBA programs, most of the MBA programs do come with internship. In fact, internships and co-ops are an intrinsic part of the overall experience of an MBA program. So those are my two bits.
One last question before we can roll off. Is IELTS mandatory for colleges and not mandatory for master's degrees?
So just to start off, Ganga, for our PG cert programs, it's mandatory. Having said that, it also depends on the profile of the student. For example, there are some exceptions to the case. If you've studied in a country where the first language is English in your previous education, then we might look to exempt such student. A good example would be if your previous degree is from the US or say the UK, then in that case, we might look to exempt the IELTS. For master's program, again, depends on the program itself. The same rule might apply, but it depends on the program that you pick and choose.
Similarly, for students from India, because the instructional language is English, and if in general you have obtained a degree in English, then you don't need to provide a test score. But on the other hand, I've heard that when students apply for a visa in India, then they're required to submit an IELTS score 6.5. I think it's still necessary to take the test, but it's not required for the application.
Thank you so much. I think that was awesome. It was truly an enlightening session on a topic that has always confused Indian students. White-collar employers, be public or private sector, don't actually care that much about the credential, let alone the curriculum behind it. What employers care about is people with required skills. So many students who we have met at events have said that they wish someone had briefed them better on options available post their bachelor's and helped them with proper options as far as programs are concerned. And they have always wanted that they need a lot of assistance from people. At CANAM, our focus has always been student-centric counseling, and so a million thanks to our expert panel today for having clearly brought out the differences and benefits of both master's and postgraduate diplomas, and the fact that every student's needs are different. We hope the students have benefited. Please be in touch with your CANAM counselors for your one-to-one counseling. We wish you all the very best in your future planning. And if you've posted your questions with your contact details, Team CANAM will connect with you. Our next session is tomorrow, 29 Jan at 11:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time, and topic for discussion would be students desire permanent residency in Canada after their study and Canadian work experience. Is this the only reason why Canada is the top destination country? A zillion thanks to our panelists and a lot of thank you to all our patient audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Ganga. Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Ganga.
Thank you, Ganga.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.